Now some questions.
Yes, Your Holiness, of course, we are the Foreign Correspondent Club of Japan, so expect a lot of questions. But before starting the Q&A, I would like to ask all our guests online and in presence to please keep a few rules. First of all, in respect for His Holiness and for the fact that we are online, please come to the microphone here on my right and watch the camera in front of you instead of the head table and ask your questions. Make sure that if you need an introduction to your question, should be very, very short, but make sure that when you cast your question, before that you say, this is the question, so that His Holiness is prepared and can understand properly. So before starting the question, this is the question. Secondly, I would like to invite you all, to remind you all that His Holiness has given up all his political role and positions since 10 years, I think, 2011. So, of course, we cannot refrain to ask questions. This is a free press club. But if you can please reduce at least and don't push too much His Holiness on political issues, since I'm sure he will answer anyway, but, you know, let's spare him some improper stress. So let's start with the questions. I see. Yeah, take off your mask and state your name. And no introductions, please.
Wow. Here is the question. There are many journalists and people and protesters in Hong Kong who are in fear that they will be arrested or go to jail for things that they have done or are doing. How should people live with fear and live with peace? What advice can you give to people who are living in fear, legitimate fear, and also how to live in peace with that fear?
Thank you.
That's, I feel, in our education, field, we are lacking of explanation how to become a person who have peace of mind. In education, we pay only the attention about intellectual side, not warm-hearted side. So now, as I mentioned before, now in modern education, without touching religion, simply for a healthy body with a peace of mind, for that basis, you see, some sort of explanation how to reduce anger, anxiety, and how to develop inner peace. And for that, warm-heartedness is the key thing. So not talking about next life. Just within this lifetime, person remain with warm-heartedness and become much happier. Because warm-heartedness really brings inner peace. And when more warm feeling or inner peace or compassionate mind, then circumstances, even you see something very tragic or difficult, but still you can keep peace of mind. If your mind a little bit sort of also too much anxiety. Then, now today's world, a lot of problem. So, economic problem, political problem, and on top of that, environmental problem. So therefore, there are a lot of causes which create anxiety. So therefore, the peace of mind with calm mind, very useful. One example, my own case, I'm a refugee in our own land, lot of suffering, lot of problem. But generally, we Tibetan are quite peaceful. And then, so that our also the culture, mainly, you see, message of Buddha, compassion, that really help to keep inner peace. So there, I quite often used to remember some Muslim brothers, sisters in Lhasa. Religiously, they are not Buddhist, but because they live in Buddhist society, Buddhist community, so they also, you see, quite often, you see, express compassion like that. So therefore, the more warm-heartedness is the key factor to bring inner peace. Like that. Okay.
You yourself mentioned you are a refugee. Yes, 26 million people are refugees today in the world. And it's actually even like a nation of refugees, which was represented in 2020 Tokyo Olympics this year. My question is, if this nation of refugees elected you as their president, what would your first official decree, official order be to cultivate a compassionate heart? And if I may also add on a very personal level, what is your biggest regret in this life, His Holiness? So 2 questions.
Because our training, we Tibetan Buddhist tradition, the Nalanda tradition. So, not just faith, use a lot of investigation and reasoning. So, our peace of mind, not just from faith, but reasoning. So, everybody, whether believer or non-believer, whether believe in this religion, that religion, including animal, we all want peaceful life, happy life. So now, peaceful mind, frustration mind is a matter of one of also the aspect of emotion. So we have our tradition, say, to tackle our anger, because anger, you see, disturb our mind and loss our peace of mind. Other hand, more compassionate mind really brings peace of mind and can keep. One Tibetan ancient master, he mentioned, enemy is your best teacher. With enemy, you can practice patience. That is one of the important sort of factor for peace of mind. So according to my own experience, I become refugee. But here, of course, I become the guest of Indian government. And then I think Tibetan generally, I think very peaceful mind. And inside Tibet also, you can see many Tibetan inside Tibet, very faithful and often smiling face, not an angry face. So that I consider real precious through our own tradition, from Nalanda tradition, through reasoning. And then, you see, we can reduce anger, fear. We can increase our compassion. So, you see, training of mind is very important. My own case, since my young age, I learned these things. And then my life become difficult. Then these knowledge really very, very helpful to keep peace of mind. And including my smile. No, I just one of the human being. So I very much sort of willing to share my own experience to rest of human brothers, sisters. Not something leader, no. Even Tibetan case, I entirely retired from political responsibility. So I simply remain as one human brother. A Tibetan also, I just consider one of them. So my sort of important thing is reminds Tibetan inner peace with wisdom is very essential. From our tradition, these are really very, very precious. I don't think any sort of regret when I look back my whole life. No matter what circumstances, I really keep peace of mind. And also, you see, thinking entire 7 billion human beings as a brother, sisters. So these is the thinking really very, very helpful. I never felt lonely. We all is the same human brothers, sisters. Like that. So no regret.